So you are searching on rightmove.co.uk for a residential sales property and you land on one. Now, the one thing that Rightmove doesn't tell you is the full address. It does give you the street address, it does give you the town, occasionally it'll give you the first half of the postcode, but perhaps you want to know the exact address for it. You want to know the postcode and you want to know the house number. Now, there's several reasons you might want to know that. For example, perhaps you're a property investor, you want to look up the energy performance certificate, the EPC, to confirm it's correct perhaps, or just to know what the square meterage is, to do your due diligence, in other words. So this video will show you a number of ways to find out the full address. There's one easy way that we can use to actually find out the postcode, and then in terms of actually finding the building number or the house number, there's a few methods, so we'll go through a few of those. The first step to finding the full address on Rightmove is to find the postcode. Now this will actually work on the vast majority of residential sales listings on Rightmove. What we do is we scroll down the page until we get to the property sale history and we click on that. Now we can see a link here saying go to nearby sold prices, and this is really simple. Just click on that, and what opens up in a new tab are all the house prices in the postcode of that particular property. So very, very simple. We know that that property, the full postcode is BN1 8FD. Step 2 of finding the full address for this residential sales listing is to find the building or house number. We already have the postcode, we have the street, we have the town. There's a few methods in order to get the house number. This is the first one, and it's the easiest by far, the property sale history. Scrolling back down to the property sale history, you can see here the year sold and the sold price for this particular house. Now this information is direct from the land registry, and it contains all of the sales listings since 1995. So any particular house on Rightmove that has been sold since 1995 will have the information here. So obviously occasionally, if it hasn't been sold since 1995, you won't have a year sold, you won't have a sold price. In this case we do, and so we can use this information to actually find the exact house number. We're going to remember the year sold and the sold price, 2011 and £225,000. We'll then click to open up the house prices again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to search for 2011. I can see there's two results here, number 36 and number 52. So both are 2011. So what we need to do is just cross-reference the price. So number 36 sold for £225,000, number 52 sold for £266,000. So we know that the actual number for this particular property is 36. Here is the full address. But what if the property hasn't actually been sold since 1995 and we can't use the property sale history in order to find the house number for a particular property? All is not lost. There are other methods that we can use to find the building number. I'm going to show you three of them now. This is the order in which that I would approach them, and the first of these methods is the property brochure or other documents. So we're looking at a different property now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down to the property description and click read more. What I'm hoping is that there's some documents, either a brochure or perhaps an EPC or something along those kinds of lines. Here we've got a brochure. Now, sometimes if we're very, very lucky, the estate agent will actually include the full address in the brochure. Let's click on it and have a look. Clicking on that opens it up in a new tab. And here we are. In this particular case, we're in luck. We can see that this particular estate agent has got the full address for this particular house. But what happens if there are no documents that we can use that contain the full address for this particular property? Here's the next method, which is using the property photographs. This method does rely on us being fairly confident of which particular building is the property that we're looking at. In this particular case, I'm pretty confident that it is the building at the end of the terrace. So this one is also fairly straightforward. All we're going to do is look through the property photographs and see if we can see one that has the house number clearly visible in one of them, whether or not it's on the door, perhaps it's on the wall next to the door, or wherever you'd normally find it on a residential property. So you can see here there are 20 photographs for this particular house. We can scroll through them by going left or right on these particular arrows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate through. I'm going to have a look to see which of these appears to have the clearest view of the front of the house. And I think I found it here. It's kind of zoomed in. It's a bit clearer than the other one, the first photo. So first thing you do is just click onto that particular photo that you want to examine. And now we can see that, we can see the whole photograph, but it's kind of difficult to zoom in on that. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click, open image in new tab, switch to that tab, and here we have the actual image itself. It's not embedded in a web page. It's now fairly easy for us to zoom in and have a look at the number. So I'm going to click in, scroll down. What I can also do is I can hold down Control and tap the plus key just to get closer again. And it's pretty obvious to me that that's the number 9. So that's the property photos method of finding the house number. But what if you have a photograph that you're fairly confident shows the property in question and you can identify it within that photograph, but you can't zoom in? You can't see the number on the door or on the wall or whatever. So that's when you come to our final and probably most awkward method, which is Google Street View. Let's scroll down the page until we come to the map. So this is the map of the local area. There's a few things I want to point out. One is the little icon there pointing to what is apparently the location of the property. However, take note of this message here, approximate location. More often than not, it won't actually be pointing to the actual house on the map. It'll be pointing to the postcode, and it might be the centre of the postcode. So you might be 50, 100 metres away. You might be 20 doors down the street. You don't know until you go into Street View and find out. So here's what you want to do. Click on Street View. Now that opens up a couple of things. One is we've got the pictures on the left, and then we've got the Google Street View, which I can click and drag and navigate through on the right. So what I try to do is I try to match up the picture on the left, which I know is the correct, or I'm pretty sure is the correct building. And I'm going to try and recreate that in Google Street View. So it actually looks like we are deposited quite close. It looks to me that this building on the end is actually the property we're looking for. But what I am going to do is I'm going to try and recreate the picture on the left. So I can click and I can drag to move the camera about. I can click on this arrow to move us down the street in any direction. So I can go up and down the street. From here I can actually go towards the seafront as well. I'm just going to scroll around. I mean, this is looking pretty good. I don't think I've quite got the angle right, so I'm just going to go down the street a touch more. Okay, yeah, let's come back again. Let's zoom out. Okay, yes, so I can also zoom out with the scroll wheel. I'm pretty confident that I've got the right house there. As you can see, the picture on the left, the Google Street map on the right. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And from here, we can just use the mouse scroll wheel to zoom in. And that's certainly the clearest we've got so far. So yeah, again, I'm very confident it's going to be number 9. So to recap, we've gone through several methods in order to find the full address of a residential sales property on Rightmove. We've got finding the postcode, which you scroll down to the property sale history. You click on go to nearby sold prices. That gives you the postcode. We've got then the building number. The easiest method is to look at the property sale history again, look at the year sold, sold price, and cross-reference that to get the actual number. Failing that, go up, have a look at the property description. With any luck, there's a brochure. Click on that. If you're really, really lucky, the full address will be in that. If you're not, go up to the property listing photographs, scroll through, open up the one which is the most likely to give you a good view of the door. Right click on that, zoom in, and you've got it. Failing that, go down to the street view in the map. These are the ways which you can find the full address, the postcode and the house number for almost any residential property on Rightmove. Now, if you like videos but you'd rather have written instructions, well, I've got a link below this video which you can follow, and there's an article on my website, fulladdress.uk. That's full address, all one word, .uk. As I say, there's a link below this video. If you've got any questions or comments, or you want anything explaining a bit more in more detail, or anything else you'd like to know about finding the full address of a residential sales property on Rightmove, please leave a comment or go to my website, again, link below, and send me a message on there. I've got a comment form. That's a good way to get in touch and just to find out more about it. So that's it. Thank you for watching this video, and you now know how to find the full address of a Rightmove residential sales property.